Rolls to his left, gets a block from Thomas. He's to the 5. Jones races in. Touchdown Giants. Second rushing touchdown for Daniel Jones. And let the party begin at MetLife Stadium. Jackson will keep it. He's got room. He's at the 30. It's a leg race. 40. Lamar Jackson midfield and going 40. One man to beat 30. He's to the 20. 10. 5. Touchdown with a tumble.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis. Presented by FantasyAlarm.com on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook is live here on Bettor Sports Network. What's going on, everybody? Justin Fensterman, Adam Ronis with you, and some of these NFL players getting paid right here. What about you, Ronis? How you doing, man? You getting paid?
No, I'm definitely not. So hopefully that changes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, hey, come on. We'll just put on a good show, and boom, just like that. Max contract, Adam Ronis getting ready for another year of tout wars. You got a draft tonight, man. You ready to roll? You got to represent?
Nope, not ready.
You're always ready. You have a wealth of information. When you were telling me this before, I was a little bit surprised. I feel like you're always just, you have so much sports knowledge in that little brain of yours.
Yeah, but this is different. This is a draft. So, yeah, look, I feel like I could be better prepared, but I'll figure things out.
Absolutely, man. Play to your strengths. You've got your rankings. You're ready to roll. All of you can have our rankings at FantasyAlarm.com. Get the cheat sheet. It is out on the site for free. That is where you can get your help when preparing for your own fantasy baseball draft, the big draft month here, the month of March. Also, big football month as well when it comes to the news, because look at this, a couple of things happening right here, trending all over Twitter. Ravens flock, here we go once again. This time, something about Lamar Jackson rather than a general manager talking trash about their own receivers. Lamar Jackson getting a non-exclusive franchise tag from the Baltimore Ravens, Rome, which pretty much makes him a restricted free agent NBA style here. Could still look for other teams here, but then it gives the Ravens a chance to match. They don't. They get some picks out of the deal. So I guess, Ronis, as you could say, the Lamar Jackson saga continues right here. And I'm just wondering what the deal with this Ravens team is going to be for next season. I feel like this team is completely on ice until we figure out this quarterback situation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is the big domino that we need to see fall. And, just feels like he probably won't be back, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see what teams are interested in him. Apparently, earlier today, the Jets management and Aaron Rodgers did meet. Little deja vu all over again. The Jets going after another older Packers quarterback about 15 years ago. How'd that work out? I'll tell you how it worked out. They were 8-3. Brett Favre gets hurt, still plays through the injury anyway, sucks after that. And then they shockingly don't end up making the playoffs after being 8-3. Same old Jets right there. But then you look at the other New York, New Jersey team here, the New York Giants making some moves here. Daniel Jones getting paid. Look at this road. It was Geno Smith. Now Daniel Jones getting paid over $100 million. Now let's talk about this here, because the Giants also placing a franchise tag on Saquon Barkley. So that's next order of business for them. This is a guy who last season just threw 5 interceptions, 15 touchdowns. He can run, completed 67% of his passes last season. We're talking a major improvement overall, threw for over 3,200 yards. And now for the next 4 years, he's going to be doing just that for the New York Giants. And looking back at last season, Rowan, the Giants, a playoff team. They won a round. This guy was a big reason why they won that playoff game against Minnesota, and thinking it's a lot of money. But who cares? Because who else are you going to find on the open market for this Giants team? Daniel Jones proved himself last year.
They overpaid him. The guy had 15 touchdown passes, man. Come on. I mean,
it's the market for quarterbacks now.
Well, it's not. You don't follow it. It's just not. They overpaid him. I mean, we're not even sure if he's the real deal. He had a good year. It was a weak NFC. You're saying, oh, he had a great game against Minnesota. Everyone did. Everyone put up numbers against Minnesota. And I talked about this last year. Look how the Giants deployed Daniel Jones. They didn't let him throw a lot. The 2 games they did let him throw a lot, Minnesota, because they knew, and it was easy. You were in one and done. You were playing Daniel Jones against Minnesota. So I don't think they should have paid him this much money for 1 year. For 1 year he had. And it's not like it was eye-popping. It was 15 touchdowns. Yeah, he did a lot on the ground. I know he didn't have a lot of weapons, but now that the problem is when you pay your quarterbacks this much, now it's harder to build a team. You look at the teams that are successful. I mean, what happened? Why were the Eagles successful? They didn't have to pay Jalen Hurts. They drafted him, and they were able to build the rest of the team.
Right. I mean, the Giants have some other things they got to figure out, too. Who are they going to be throwing the ball to? I mean, they're releasing Kenny Golladay. Who are they going to throw the ball to? I mean, are they going to be able to get somebody else at this point? You view Geno Smith a little bit differently because you could technically say it was 1 year for Geno Smith as well. But I feel like when I say that, you would fire back at me and say, well, he threw for a lot more touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, still concerned there too. I mean, you got to see if he can do it again.
Right. And so that's why these commitments are made to these quarterbacks here from what we saw with Daniel Jones. Giants fans, how are you feeling about this? What do you think? Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, going to be under center for the next number of years for you. How do you feel about that? Is it a lot of money or is it just the product of the marketplace right now when it comes to these crazy pay grades for quarterbacks there? So we'll have to see what happens. I can only imagine how much Lamar Jackson is going to get. We'll also have to see, like I said before, where Aaron Rodgers ends up. So NFL starting to bubble just a little bit, but throughout free agency, we're going to continue to cover all of this stuff here. Roan, going into your draft tonight, I got to ask you, man, you got any Oakland Athletics in your draft plan at all? I was looking at the odds to win the World Series, to win the AL. There's your team that's at the bottom of the list right there. Any of these Oakland A's that you're thinking of targeting? Maybe an Esteury Ruiz who could steal you a lot of bases? Who on this team are we drafting?
Yeah, I mean, Ruiz is a guy. It depends on your roster construction. I actually did take him in a draft Champions League because I took a lot of high average power early and was a little lacking in speed. So he fit the team. He's been moving up draft boards. I mean, he might hit at the bottom of the lineup, but that could change. Ramon Laureano's okay. Shea Langoliers is interesting, but in a lot of leagues, he's only eligible at utility now, but he is going to catch, so he will get that catcher eligibility. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty bad team. Seth Brown has some power, but a lot of these guys are for draft Champions leagues, those 50-round leagues where, okay, they'll get at bats, we'll put them in, but I'm trying to remember. I think in my labor auction, I know Laureano did go in the auction, and I think Ruiz did. I think that was it on the offensive side.
None of their pitchers went.
No. Did Ken Waldichuk go in the reserve round? I don't think so. Fujinami goes in some leagues, but no. Trevor May was definitely taking, I think, in the reserve round. He looks like to be the closer, but yeah, I mean, this is an absolute bad team. I mean, they are going to be terrible.
I mean, I was looking at their win total on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's at 60.5, man. It's at 60.5. The under at minus 120. I mean, even that number being as low as it is, that's a really low number, man. This team just sounds like they're going to be absolutely pathetic, just completely pathetic.
Oh, they are. I mean, it's not even a debate. They're one of the worst teams in baseball. Them and Washington look to be two of the worst teams in baseball.
Their ballpark, tell me if I'm wrong, is their ballpark hard to hit in? Is it more pitcher favored?
Yeah, it's a very tough park to hit it.
That's what I was thinking as well. So the opposition that's going to be going there, good luck there. But that's about it, man. There's really, when it comes to this team, not too many options that you can really turn to. Rona said Laureano. He stole a few bags, 13 homers, 34 RBIs. But here's the thing with Seth Brown, who I'm looking on NFBC boards here, seems to be the prioritized target, not even inside the top 200 if you look at drafts from over the last 2.5 weeks here. But as pathetic as that is, he hit 25 homers, Rome, but only a 230 batting average there. So he's going to be dragging it down a little bit for the power that he does bring. He stole some bases. And then you had guys like Tony kept hitting 235 last year as well. This team just absolutely is dreadful for fantasy baseball, man. Like I said, there are very few people that I'm going to even be looking at in this squad, and clearly the NFBC players feel the same way because you're seeing Seth Brown here in his 25 homers and 230 average. He's going at an average of 209 right here, Roan. Pathetic.
Yeah, they just don't have talent. I mean, it's pretty clear. The total says it. You look at the names in the lineup. You look at the pitching. They're just an atrocious team that's just not putting any money into the team.
No, absolutely not. Have you ever been to Oakland? I've never been to Oakland before.
No.
Yeah, neither have I. I haven't been there either. Let us know. Where do we go in Oakland when we go? Come on. Help us out here. Let us know what's going on. Let us know what players you're somewhat interested, if at all, from this Oakland A's team. A team that's essentially last and the least favored team to win the World Series, to win the American League here. How'd you do overall, Rome? Because last night it was just speaking of crappiness like the Oakland Athletics, crappy night for me on the betting front, bro. 1-0 for 4 with my bets from last night. Just really wasn't a good night. I mean, James Harden, who we don't even know if he's going to be playing tonight there, get your assist. But, man, the scoring, bro, you were right with your first play of the day. I was wrong with mine there. You took the Maxey over on points. I took the Harden, and Harden was in all pass mode for the most part last night.
Yeah, 20 assists. So, Maxey did cash for me, but I missed something else. What was the other one that I missed?
What? Oh, you missed the thigh bowl blocks and steals one.
Mm-hmm. Then I had a nice parlay set up that the Pelicans ruined. I had a 6-leg parlay. I hit the first 4. And then the Pelicans ruined it because I had Ingram scoring 25 or more. He scored 24. I had McCollum over 5.5 assists, and he had 3. So that ruined that.
Yeah, for my bets, the rest of them last night, which it wasn't a good night for me. The Derek White assists didn't go over there. He had 2 at half. I thought we were on a nice pace. And, yeah, that was the end of that. Then Marvin Bagley, double-double, man. I can't get this guy right. I just can't. And Detroit's missing 6 players tonight. And I'm tempted, but I don't now. It's like, as tempted as I am, I know I could get screwed here with this guy. I don't know what the deal is with him.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's one of those tough teams right now where we know they don't want to win. So I'm a little leery of taking some of their props, even when it looks like it's a good spot.
Yeah, we're talking 6 players out for the Detroit Pistons. So not a good night for yours truly. The Thibault steals plus blocks prop also did not come through. So what we do here on the playbook, even when we have bad nights, we tell you about it, but then we turn the page. New slate of games, new strategies, new players that we have to take a look at when it comes to player props tonight here. Adam Ronis, Justin Fensterman, let's get to the playbook's first play of the day. Let's place some bets. It could be a basketball bet. It could be anything we want here. How much action Ronis is going to get tonight in his social life? If you want to bet the over on 0.5, probably going to lose because he has a 4-hour draft coming up here for Tout Wars. Sorry,
long-ass day.
Long day for Adam Ronis here, but we still can place a few bet skis from the NBA side, even though you won't get to enjoy it. Like, you're not going to be able to focus on the NBA.
Nah, I can't watch the games tonight. I
No.
gotta focus on the draft.
Absolutely. So let's talk.
It's better for me, man. I stress myself out. Even at night when I saw the Kings Pelicans, I was like, man, I gotta turn this off.
Yeah, dude. You got to be careful, man. You get to, you know what the problem is, Ron? Sometimes things happen that you just can't control with your bets. A bad call is a bad call. But sometimes you make good calls, and we've talked about this. And those good calls, for a stupid reason, player gets the shot volume, just not hitting shots. That's not on you, man. At least they're getting the shot volume, you know? Am I helping make you feel better at all?
No, you're not. You make me feel worse. Thanks.
Okay, so no problem. That's what I'm here for here. Let's go to my first play of the night. And I don't think
steal mine.
Dude, I'm not stealing yours. I've already actually kind of told you what it was already.
I don't listen to you.
I clearly, we know that. I mean,
I know what it is now.
Yeah, Mitchell Robinson double-double.
Yeah, well, you kind of did steal that from me and put you onto him.
Dude, come on. Are you taking retroactive credit here?
All right, fine, whatever. Go ahead.
Really? You can't just be like, Hey, Fensty, that's a pretty good call. Good matchup against Charlotte. Fast-paced environment. Inexperienced front court. You can't just say good call, Fensty. You have to try to pick at the credit a little bit.
Who was talking about Mitchell Robinson's props over the last 2 weeks?
I mean, you were. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to give him as a double-double for my first play because of it.
Nope.
I have to give you credit for it.
Yeah.
You think that's why I'm here, just to build and buff you up?
Yes.
No, I'm not here for that. Well, you could get it at minus 105. The rebounding prop was a little bit high for me, 11.5. It's at minus 130, so pretty juiced anyway on DraftKings. Just, again, thinking it's going to be a fast-paced environment, and thinking that he's going to be all over the glass. And when it comes
to 22.5?
I did not check the PRs.
You're just doing points?
What's that?
You're doing points?
No, I'm doing a double-double. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Minus 105. I figured that's the best way to attack it because the rebound prop was too high.
11.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a little much, man. So just in case he's teetering right there, I just feel like the double-double's the safest. With the points for him, he can't do much. He's a recipient of alley-oops. He can only produce 1 inch away from the basket, and that's it.
What about you don't like points rebounds?
Let me check that number one more time.
21.5.
Okay, it's not bad. But again, I'm pretty much acknowledging at this point that I might as well take the over on rebounds then, Roan, because I'm acknowledging
and points, which are 9.5.
I don't think that he can get more than 10 points. That's why I don't think about that when I think of Mitchell Robinson. I think of him as just a 10-point guy. He's lucky if he gets all those open looks to the basket. That's why.
Okay.
This guy has no moves. He has none. His move, dunk the basketball. That's what he does. His move, run to the basket and hopes the guard sees him and could throw him an alley-oop. That's really what Mitchell Robinson is. And it's fast-paced environment for centers like these who are specific low-block centers. In a faster-paced environment, maybe gets a couple more possessions because of the speed. So it gives me, in my opinion, a better chance. Finding it at minus 105 tonight, pretty good odds. So it makes me.
So what are you parlaying it with?
I'm not of nothing yet. You want to convince me on another leg?
Well, let's see.
What's your first play of the day?
Tyus Jones. Well, I got it earlier at 22.5 points and assists. It's now 23.5 points and assists, but I would play it anyway. We've seen 10 games this year without Ja Morant. Tyus Jones is averaging 19.4 points, 8.1 assists. So that is 27. We saw him have a monster game on Sunday, and I was so disgusted because I was in Florida and I couldn't bet it. And I was telling Ryan Hallam, I'm like, damn, man, his PRAs, I would definitely play it. And I think at that point, he wasn't having a big game. I said, don't worry. And I was like, yeah, now he's up to this. So he had 25 points, 12 assists that night against the Clippers for 37. So this is a matchup against the Lakers, second in pace. So he's had a couple games where he didn't get there, but I mean, this is a big spot. No Ja, no Steven Adams, no Brandon Clark. The Lakers, I don't see how he doesn't get this. So
I like it. It. Get another speedy game that you're going to get. By the way, I did for fun put both of those bets as a parlay plus 245 on DraftKings. The Mitchell Robinson double-double and the Tyus Jones over 23.5 points assists.
Yeah, he's gone over in the 10 games without Ja. He's gone over this line 6 times.
That's not bad, man.
And the times he didn't was Toronto, Sacramento. How'd that happen?
That's a good question.
Yeah, 31 minutes in that game. And then the other game he fell short was Brooklyn. That was early in November, and Washington in November. But he's played very well. That was a big game for him against the Clippers the other night, and a good matchup here against the Lakers. So like this Tyus Jones prop.
Yep, I'm really thinking about parlaying them. I really am. You got me onto this now. So I'll have to see. I'll let you know what my card ends up being a little bit later on. That is the Playbook's first plays of the day, by the way, for me. Mitchell Robinson against the Hornets, a double-double. Yes, minus 105 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Ronis over 23.5. He got it at 22.5. Ron, can I still say it, though, even though you gave the play out and you said you got it at 22.5? The official play being 23.5, you're still giving that blessing on the over, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ronis 23.5. Take the over for Tyus Jones tonight. Rodas is on to something. No reason why Tyus Jones shouldn't play 35 minutes. Give me a reason. You can't at this point. He's the main beneficiary. Yeah, Dylan Brooks may get some more time on the ball, but not going to impact that. And there's
I just saw it. It's the second most bet prop on DraftKings tonight.
Damn. So
you want to guess what number one is?
Okay, let me take a guess here. I'm gonna go with something Anthony Davis related.
No.
I'm gonna go with, let's see, the number one bet prop. Is it, man? What is it? Is it Joel Embiid related?
Nope.
Damn. Okay, give me another chance. Is it something Detroit related?
Nope.
All right. What about Chris Middleton points?
Nope.
What is it?
It is a guy that has been lighting it up lately.
Is it? Oh, dang, poo. What is it? Who is it?
I give you a hint. You probably still won't get it. He's played 41 and 43 minutes the last two games and taken 43 shots from the field in those two games.
I'm going to have to go with – who is it? I don't want to try.
Mikal Bridges over 23.5 points.
It makes sense.
Let me see if it's moved to 24, though. It is 23.5 still, but minus 140 on DK. It's 24.5 on other books. It is 25.5 on FanDuel and BetMGM.
Damn. Mikal Bridges on that.
It's Houston.
It is Houston. It is another environment that's going to be very fast-paced there.
I think I might have a prop on another Nets player.
Ooh, you're going to tease us a little bit here.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow. What a tease. Rodas loves being a tease with the show and with the ladies here. Bettor Sports Network presents Bettorcast, premiering tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Watch, play, and win by answering predictive questions and trivia about tonight's featured matchup and have fun chatting with our community while we watch the Southern Conference Championship game. To get Bettorcast featuring a different live event every night with your chance to win fabulous prizes on the Bettor Sports Network app. Join us 7 p.m. Eastern right after us. And with that, you can always check out what's going on Bettorcast, a new little feature that we have on Bettor Sports Network. He's Ronas. I'm Fensty. Let's get to Colby Conway and talk some fantasy baseball. Big part of our free fantasy baseball draft guide. Go get yours and get learned for your fantasy baseball draft. It's the playbook with Fensty and Ronas here on BSN.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team where you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network. Talk about your picks and your fantasy teams on Bettor Sports Network.
The importance of checking out the site that you're playing on. Default rankings of these sites. A lot of times they don't get updated. I know from experience. I used to write default rankings for the NFBKC, the basketball version of the NFBC. I'd write these default rankings in June for the NBA, before the NBA draft, before free agency opened up. And guess what? I was never asked to write an update article or update the default rankings. This happens a lot. Maybe if there's something obvious, it gets updated. Aaron Judge, for some reason, hurts his back. Maybe they make that change. Just maybe. But you don't know that. And that's why it's just so important that you show up to your draft room or you do that pre-draft prep. We're all busy. We know we're about to devote a lot of time to our fantasy baseball drafts. Why not spend the extra 20 to 25 minutes to invest properly in your team, to go and see which of those players are way down default rankings? They're going to be different on all of these sites, and you're going to be looking at them and going, maybe their analysts think a certain player who shouldn't be in the top 100, who should be maybe even not even the top 200, will be in that top 100. You got to check that out. You got to know where you're playing, just like you got to know your format when you sign up for the league. It's just so crucial, and people just skip right over it. You think it's cool to show up to the draft room 3 minutes before the draft. Well, number one, it's not cool because the commissioner's trying to make sure it is organized, especially me, who runs auctions. You can't, it's one thing if someone doesn't show up for the snake draft. Oh, well, doesn't ruin it for everyone. Auctions, you can't have someone not show up. Auto bidding, auto-auctioning. It ruins the sanctity of those drafts here, which is why I always recommend, hey, make it easy on your commissioner. Don't make them send those texts there. It's annoying. You shouldn't have to do that. Don't wait till the last minute. And get in there about 20, 25 minutes before so you can just look up and down the entire default rankings list so you can make a queue out of that, Ron. And the reason I keep saying this is because people still show up 2-3 minutes before the draft, and that's it. In fact, in one of my auctions, people were asking me where certain players were, and I go, did you search their name? No, I just got in. Well, that's no excuse right there. That's your own fault. I mean, you're organized, so you're a hard person to ask here.
You're getting those questions. This is your preschool league, right? People don't know how to search player names.
People freak out. They don't think. That's the problem. Because they show up 2 minutes before the draft. That's why.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network. The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Playbook continues. Ron, what song is this?
What song is it?
What song is this?
The Fox.
Yes, look at you. Ding, ding, ding. He's 1 for 1. Ladies and gentlemen, give this guy a prize here. One of my favorite intro themes in the history of sports. Let's be honest here.
You have a low bar.
No, first of all, let's not go. You don't love this?
Love? I wouldn't say love.
It's amazing. How don't you like this?
It's amazing. I wouldn't say amazing, but okay.
Well, it's not better than NBA on NBC. That's the 1 seed of the 1 seed. That's 101 right there. You agree with that, right?
Sure.
Let's just bring on Colby Conway here from FantasyAlarm.com. You can't get anything with this guy. Colby, you see what I'm working with here? How you doing, man?
See what I'm working with, Colby?
Hey, it goes both ways. I'm doing well, though. Glad to be back with you boys, and I'm glad that I get to come on and give you guys a little reprieve from one another. So I'm in the sweet spot here.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Check is in the mail.
Show just started. I need a break.
Yes. Rodas has a draft today. He's like, I'm not prepared. It's Adam Rodas. Come on. That's all BS. He's ready. He's prepared.
It's OBP, man. I haven't done an OBP draft yet this year. So it's
I thought you were asking if we're down with OPP. My bad.
No, I am. You're not.
Yeah. That's kind of true, actually.
Yeah.
Colby, you're down with OPP?
I don't even know. I don't even think I know if I know what that is.
Okay, yeah, you know me. All right, Colby, let's get to some baseball questions here because you did a lot of content for our free fantasy baseball draft guide, fantasyalarm.com. You also participated in our staff mock draft too. Going to hit you up with questions about that. Let's start with this. Eduardo Rodriguez, he's on your sleepers list. You did these sleepers and bust articles, which are part of the cheat sheet that we have along with that draft guide if you want it in short form. So I got to ask you, what are your expectations for him? And are there any other Tigers that you're planning on targeting in your fantasy baseball drafts based on where you're seeing them go?
Yeah, Rodriguez is a guy for Detroit that I like. He actually might not be the Tiger I like the most for this year. We'll come back to that. But yeah, Erod's a guy I really like this year. Last year had the rib cage issue, then the personal matters that kind of derailed his season. But when you look at him coming into this year, I wrote in the article in the spring, I just wanted to see some results, and I wanted to see velo that matched what we had seen back in some of his better years. And it looked good in his last start, a couple of strikeouts. And even though the fences are moving in Detroit, he really is a lot of ground balls and strikeouts. So as long as we get that, he's a guy I really like to bounce back in 2023. And I do believe he has an opt-out after this year. So if you want to play a loose contract year narrative, you can with Eduardo Rodriguez. And he's super cheap, so he's worth a flyer. But Detroit, the guy I really like is Riley Green. The fences are moving in, should play to his swing really well. I almost wish he would have, not been doing some of the things he's doing here in spring to keep his price suppressed, but he's only going to continue to move up. But he looks darn good this year and it's probably going to be my favorite Tiger for the 2023 fantasy season.
Like Justin Fensterman, Carlos Correa failed multiple physicals. Should we be concerned about Correa's health going into drafts?
Here's the interesting thing. I believe it was lower leg, then ankle, and then we went back to lower leg. So whatever it ends up being, the crux of the issues of all the contract wasn't necessarily for 2023. It was going to be because they have to give him a multi-year deal. We're talking in the 10s, so he's going to be old by the time it's up. So they're more worried about it on the back end of the deal. For fantasy, we don't need to be too worried about it this season. I don't think it's going to hamper him for 2023. He's going to be just fine, and it's going to be the same player that he is. He's going to be fine with the bat. He's not going to run. Don't expect him to run. It almost feels like if you even think like, oh, maybe I'll get a little bit lucky with 3 steals from Carlos Correa this season. That's 3 too many. He is not running. They want him on the field as much as possible. They don't give 2 rips if he steals 2 bases this season. Does not matter to them. His health is paramount. Best ability is availability. So fantasy managers in 2023, we can really take advantage of the value we're getting with Correa right now in drafts.
Hanging out with Colby Conway from fantasyalarm.com. Give him a follow on Twitter at Colby R. Conway. Kind of like Adam Ronis, Colby. What are a few players that have bust potential this year?
Yeah.
Gosh, you two don't take a break from each other, do you? I love it.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, really, Dylan Cease is the first one. It's just regressions on the wall. I love the talent, but there's just so much that points to regression this season. We're drafting him to almost repeat or only a little bit of regression from last year. And like I said, the writing's on the wall. If the walks come back, if he doesn't post the same strand rate, a little less luck with BABIP, just a lot of things have to go right for him to basically repeat what he did. And where he's going, I can't pay up for him. So Cease is a guy. Keepers and dynasties, all about it. I am totally fine with keeping Cease. Redraft, I just can't pay the current price. And then offensively, again, kind of the same thing with Cease in terms of dynasty keepers. I'm all in for him. But this year, I'm not going to have any Wander Franco. The injuries are too much. It continues to pile up. He's going to need the volume to accrue some of the numbers that we want to see from him. Still like him long term, but for 2023, a lot of hype is really pushing up that ADP, and that's not something I can get behind for 2023.
Much like myself, I have to save this show a lot. So are there any relievers targeting in the draft late that you think could get saves throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, Alex Lang is a guy in Detroit. He seems like he's going to open the year, and he's not exactly. He still goes in the later round, but his name's popping up a little bit more, so he's not exactly the unknown guy. A guy that I really like, and how the spring has kind of played out thus far is, 1, validated it, and 2, it's also making me nervous that I'm going to have to start pushing him up a bit more. But in Los Angeles, Carlos Estevez was the guy who they thought was going to be the front runner, and he's come out and he's recorded, I believe it's 5 outs and 7 walks so far in spring. He is not shutting the door. I know it's spring, but he's not providing optimism or belief that he can close out games. So Jimmy Herget's a guy that I am taking everywhere. I know he's got that gift-worthy strikeout last year where I believe it was Francisco Alvarez when he hit him in the groin area with the strike 3 that the guy swung on. So he's got the stuff. He's nasty. He's got multiple pitches he can get batters out with. I think not before long, if Estevez has another rough outing or two, even if the Angels don't name a closer, Herget's going to be the guy who gets the majority of the 9th inning work, and he's virtually free right now. Even in the TGFBI that I'm doing, I think I got him outside of 320 or pick 320, pick 330. So he's very cheap and an upside guy that I love to draft.
Colby, with Tyler Glasnow's injury, we've seen him discounted in drafts recently. Could miss a month of the season. Would you still be open to drafting him, or do you generally stay away from drafting injured players like the ladies stay away from my co-host generally?
Yeah, right. You've seen the receipts. You can't lie to yourself like that. Come on.
I don't know how they couldn't see the performance on the field at the Expo. I know we talked about this, but that's right. That's not someone you stay away from.
Exactly. Thank you, Colby.
I mean, I saw it on the side.
Except when the game's on the line and he's on the sidelines.
For the one play I subbed out, and we didn't lose because of that.
Yeah,
allegedly.
I mean, listen. I mean, that's why I took so many plays off, because it's like when you're in the midst of greatness, you want to see it. I can't see it on the field. I don't want to worry about the other 5 dudes on offense. I just want to watch Ronis peruse the secondary like a gazelle back there. So no, it should be fun for this year. But with Glass now, he seems like one of those guys. As a former, I'm still a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, but he's being a former Pirate. It was almost like give anything just to see him healthy for a full season. What could happen? What could be? I don't know if we're going to get it. It's at the point with him where there's been so many issues with him. He's going to have to drop far enough in drafts where I feel comfortable taking that risk, and just knowing how people love upside, he's just not going to fall that far. And it's like the same with Joe Musgrove in TGFBI. The news came out that he broke his toe or fractured his toe, whatever it was, and he just slipped, and it's not to a point where I was comfortable with it. and someone took him right before me. So I'm not opposed to drafting guys who are injured at the draft, but it's not all injuries are created equal. You know what I mean? Like Graham Ashcraft is another sleeper that I like in Cincinnati. He had a comebacker off the foot in spring training. He was fine. That's not going to sway me from taking him. But, you know, a guy like Glass now who has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus injuries now, he's just someone, he's not going to fall far enough for me to get a chance. So I think the big thing is not all injuries are created equal. And it's something by the player, by the injury. It's something we just have to consider when drafts roll around.
Sometimes you're forced to work with people you don't want to, just like in fantasy baseball, you're forced to draft catchers sometimes too. So who are some catchers you would target late?
See, that one hurts a little bit as a former catcher. I mean, I have some affinity for that position. So, I mean, listen, I may not be the best resource in terms of catchers. In TGFBI, I double tapped with Real Muto and Adley Rutschman. I wanted two horses right away. I didn't back to back. I shouldn't say. I double tapped the position early on. I think it was second and maybe sixth or seventh round. I don't really remember, but it ultimately comes down to in one catcher leagues, you can afford to wait. And especially when you start looking on your leagues, if it's categories or points in category setups, the steals that Real Muto and Varsho provide make them literal cheat codes at the position. In points leagues, outside of those top two, what's really much of the difference between catcher 3 and catcher 9? You know what I mean? It's negligible, really. So I'm okay waiting. You don't want to get too deep. So like in one catcher leagues, K. Bear Ruiz is the last guy I really want. After that, it's good luck. In deeper leagues where you have to start two catchers, I really like, I know you guys talked about Oakland, but Shea Langoliers is a guy that I like later on. Eric
Just
Haas,
keep in mind, in some leagues, he's only eligible at utility right now.
for sure. And that's something where, I mean, hopefully, I know catchers, it's not something with like positional players. It's like, all right, well, when's their 20th game of the year? That's when he'll get it. That might not be the case for Langoliers, but he should get catcher eligibility sooner rather than later. But Eric Haas, he should benefit a little bit from the fences being moved in Detroit. He's going super late. So he's one that I like. And then mid-season, because we're all going to get hit by the injury bug. It just happens. Once Pittsburgh calls up Endy Rodriguez, he's a guy to get mid-season. He's not going to break camp with the team. They're going to roll with Austin Hedges, but when they're sick of his 198 batting average and 33% strikeout rate, they'll be looking to Endy Rodriguez.
Give Colby Conway a follow on Twitter at Colby R. Conway. Find all of his work at fantasyalarm.com. And Colby, in the first mock draft for our FA staff, you took Freddie Freeman over Shohei Ohtani. What are your expectations for both players going into the season? Because they have to be much larger than my expectations for Adam Ronis going into every single show we do together.
I mean, they're both going to be much of the same. I really wanted to test out an early first baseman build. A lot of times I wait. I don't take Vladdy early, not because it's not that I don't like him. I just haven't really had the chance to do it. There's other guys I've liked more. So I always seem to wait in that first base for like the Vinny Pasquantino and other guys in that range that tend to fall to my team more. So I really wanted to test what an early build with an early first baseman looks like. So didn't hate it, to say the least. But Freeman, Ohtani, they're going to be the same as we expect. Both are going to be very good options. The big thing with Ohtani, just know the league rules. Can you play him as both? I mean, obviously, you'll have to determine on the day which he's going to be, but are you drafting only pitcher Ohtani, only hitter Ohtani? Do you get him as both? I mean, that's something you'll definitely want to know before the draft. But for me, in the next mock draft that we do, because I think we're doing multiple versions of it, I might take Ohtani over Freeman. It's just something where I wanted to test taking a first baseman early and see what the build turned out to be.
Colby, I have to ask you about different kinds of fantasy baseball leagues here, because hearing some of the conversations going on around labor, where that points leagues in fantasy baseball are starting to become more and more popular. Is that true? And what are your thoughts on points leagues? I mean, do you think that it's a nice bridge for those fantasy football players that are trying to get into baseball? Because why all of a sudden has there been a surge in popularity in these points leagues?
I have a points league in a home league that I play in, and if we had the option to switch to categories, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm not the commissioner of that league, so it's kind of out of my control, but I'll put up to a vote every single year. So yeah, it's the allure with the points leagues, I think, is that, you see in fantasy football, you lost, 123 to 120, you can just say it like that. Whereas if you do even if you do head-to-head categories where you still play on a weekly basis, there's an easier win-loss tied to points. And it's kind of tough with in a bunch of your buddies, you're doing a full-blown roto season for the year. And it's like, oh, well, we're 82 days in and I've got you so far. And it's, you don't have that traditional win-loss thing. So I do think the carryover from fantasy football applies to that. I 100% prefer categories formats. The only time I want best ball is when I want points is in best ball formats for baseball. I'm okay with it on Underdog and other sites that you plan. I'm fine with it. But other than that, outside of like Underdog best ball drafts, I want categories. I don't really want points. I understand the popularity. It's nice to say, hey, I beat you this week and have that. You're not waiting until the end of the season to do it. But categories, I think, is a true testament to the overall, dare I say, skill set of the fantasy player and the in-season management.
He's Colby Conway. He joins us from time to time. We'll definitely bring him on. Also talks football, covers footballfantasyalarm.com as well. And you can follow him on Twitter at Colby R. Conway. Colby, thank you so much for tolerating us once again.
Absolutely, fellas. Take it easy on each other.
That's not happening here. Take the under on that one here. We're getting you ready for the upcoming baseball season with the Bettor baseball preview. From fantasy baseball to MLB betting and the newest baseball cards for 2023. You can access our exclusive content for free right now at bettorsports.com, featuring some of the best baseball minds in the industry like Adam Rodas, Ray Flowers, Kyle Elfrink, and Cody Decker. Get player profiles, prop bets, and future sleepers and busts, fantasy draft strategy, collectibles, and more at no cost. Please register with your name and email at bettorsports.com right now and get instant access plus notifications when new features are released. Go to bettorsports.com and sign up for the Bettor Baseball Preview. The Players' Championship coming up this week here. Haven't talked to this fella in about a month here. His name is Drew Phelps. Writes golf content for fantasyalarm.com. Which player will win the Players? Find out in the playbook on BSN.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Bettor Sports Network.
Talk sports with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Bettor Sports Network.
Let me say something about Tiger. You know, Tiger has had to redesign his entire swing. Tiger has a difference in the length of his legs because of that horrible accident. You know, in golf, there's no like, hey, you can't walk the greens, you have to take a cart. So I assumed by day 3 on Sunday, you know, the inflammation would start. He took a couple breaks where they take care of his back a little bit, but it is fascinating watching him. So it gave me this thought, like, is he that skilled at golf? Or is this a mental thing of dedication and determination? He is so dedicated to the sport that no matter what, he's relentless to it. And the dedication and determination goes to the golf, the swing, the playing, the walking, but it goes to his overall health. The average person who doesn't stay in great shape, gets in an accident like that, goes through multiple surgeries, is not recovering and going out there to walk. And that course has some pretty steep inclines, a lot of walking. I mean, how else can you factor these athletes, you know, the Michael Jordans, the LeBrons, these players that just, their whole focus is really optimal health, optimal body skills, optimal. And then what comes next is being the best at what they do.
I think you just hit on why Tiger still has that drive. I don't know this. I don't know the man. It could just be love of the game. It could be, I want to make as much money as I can while playing. Could be all this stuff. But LA, a lot of people think Tiger Woods is the GOAT of golf. And I don't understand how you can be the GOAT of golf when you are 3 majors short of Jack Nicklaus. Okay? So, like, LeBron, I don't think he cares what guys like me say anymore, right? He's past Kareem. He thinks he's the GOAT. I mean, he's 3rd on my list. He's in the debate. Many other people think he's the GOAT. He's not my GOAT. You know what I mean? So I wonder if Tiger is there, like LeBron, like, I don't care what the pundits, what the barbershops say. I'm the GOAT. I don't have to do anything more. This is all gravy. I wonder if Tiger looks at it that way.
I don't know what Tiger's mindset is in the GOAT status, but when players talk about what it's like to be at a tournament, when Tiger's playing versus when he's not, they'll tell you that they're on the greens and they can hear the roar 4 holes over, and that there is nothing that compares to the excitement of when he's present.
Bettor Sports Live, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, exclusively on Bettor Sports Network. Or listen whenever you want on the app with BSN On Demand.
4! Sorry, ladies, I'm not the golfing type.
Looking to play some action on the links this weekend, but not quite sure what to do?
I'm stupid. You're smart.
Fensky, Ronis, and a pal are here on the playbook to putt you in the right direction.
Are you ready to get down to business and do exactly what I tell you to do?
Believe me, I'm ready.
Let's get to work.
Make sure I don't do anything stupid, okay?
Oh, you're a funny guy, Adam Bernard. You're a very funny guy right there. You hear that little pun there from Adam Bernard?
Didn't we hear that before? Am I
Yeah,
bugging?
it's been a little. I feel like it's been a little bit. We do a lot of stuff, Road. Okay, can't you just answer the?
I'm just saying, you act like that's
God.
the first time we heard it. I remember hearing it before.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Okay, man.
All right, it's usually not as funny the second time, third time around when you hear it.
Well, sometimes
You acted like that's the first time we heard it.
It's out of sight, out of mind. Okay,
Yeah,
stop
just-
busting my golf ball.
Why can't you
okay?
be out of sight and out of mind for me?
If you want, I can be. I can
Okay.
disappear if you want. No, it's okay. We don't want to freeze. You don't have to turn my camera off here. Drew Phelps, though, our pal who covers golf for FantasyAlarm.com, crushing it in the playbook last week here, heating up, getting into the Players Championship, one of the bigger tournaments here. You can give him a follow on Twitter at Drew Phelps 05. They're on Twitter, and as always, FantasyAlarm.com. Drew, you ready? You're on a heater right now. You ready for the Players, my man?
I am, man. The Players is always one of the most fun events on tour, and you got a great crew, awesome field this weekend again. So I'm really looking forward to it.
So why don't you start out with describing this course, your Players Stadium at TPC Sawgrass, and which golfers does this particular course benefit more?
So this course is a typical, it is like, if you know a Florida course, it's wet, there's water everywhere, it is marshy lands, and there's a lot of hazards, and it's always tight fairways. So, and it's a traditional style course in that way. So it's very tough. You saw last week at the Arnold Palmer, it's not, you're not going to have 20 unders win this tournament. I think nobody's finished over 15 in the last couple of years. So it's going to be a tough week. People are going to make bogeys. They're going to struggle. You've got to keep it on the fairway, and you got to stay out of the water as best as possible, because the rough is really high and there's so much water all over, especially, this is what this course is known for, is the 17th hole. It's an island hole. It's all out there by itself. It's about 130 yards into the wind, and so it's a tough hole, and it's always crushed people's dreams on that 17th, right before you're about to finish. So you can win a tournament and lose it on that 17th hole. So it's beneficial to guys that are more accurate off the tee than guys that can bomb it, because it's not a really long course. It's only about 7,200 yards, a little over that. So you need accuracy over distance this week.
Yeah, a little wetness has never killed anyone.
I was waiting. I was either going to hear that or tight. Either tight or wetness is what I was waiting for. So
yeah, I saw the smile. I'm like, something's about to get said here. That could boot us.
I was waiting for it. I just didn't know which one it was going to be.
Who are some of the golfers that have stood out to you over the last month since we last saw you?
So, you got to start with Jon Rahm, 3 wins.
My guy.
The dude is just crushing it, man. He's killing it. It's the baby boom, man. He's had 2 and just keeps winning ever since then. He's won his first major. He's got the best streak going right now. And then you talk about Scotty Scheffler. He hasn't finished lower than 12th in a tournament in the last 7 starts, including a win at the Waste Management. So, and then the last guy I got to talk about is Max Homa. He's got a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in his last 5 starts. So those guys, and those are all 3 of the top 3 guys I'm going to be playing this week at the tournament. As far as price wise, I like all those guys this weekend.
Catch the DFS PGA playbook, FantasyAlarm.com. Drew goes over all this in his outlines. Our buddy John and Pemba winning some quiche last week.
Yeah, John, it seems to be cleaning up this year. He's having a killer year this year. I wish I was making as much as he's making right now.
Have you seen his lineups that have won? And
yeah.
Has he been imploring any strategies? Because he's had multiple hits with your playbook this
year.
I
think he played, I'll be honest, I'm not a guy that mass multi-entries, so I don't know how many lineups he's doing. But, they're all guys in the playbook. He might throw one other guy in there that he likes, but he's using 90%, 5 of the 6 guys are in my playbook. So, yeah, he's definitely doing well.
Yeah, very good, Drew. No, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Here. Yeah, dude, it's awesome. It's that the feeling you get, and it could be John, it could be anybody, when just one person, all they say is this one, hey man, use these plays, check out this cash item, even if it's a $10 hit.
Yeah, I love it when people send me screenshots. I love seeing it. They do it on the Discord chat all the time. So make sure you jump in there as well.
Yep, that's where you can contact Drew Phelps, our guest here on the playbook. Give him a follow on Twitter at Drew Phelps 05. Drew, Justin Thomas, he won this event a few years ago. I'm seeing he's 9,400 on DraftKings. When it comes to lineup building, are you building around him at all this week?
So he'll definitely be in the playbook this week. He loves this course. He knows it really well. He hasn't had too many high finishes. The Waste Management is his high at 4th and coming off his 5th at the Tour Championship. But this year's been kind of middle of the road, not as many flashes, but he loves this course. Won it in 2021. He's got a 3rd place in 2016 and an 11th in 2018. So I like him this weekend. I'm not going to necessarily build around, but he's going to be in lineups this weekend for me, and he'll be in the playbook.
How has past tournament winner Rory McIlroy golf this year, and does he tend to get a huge ownership every tournament?
Yeah, I mean, he's just the name, man. He's basically carrying the tour right now. He is the tiger of this tour right now because he's out there talking for the tour. He's setting up players only meetings. He's been the biggest ambassador out there. He's the one that's been like pushing against the live tour, saying, like, those guys can do what they want to do. I'm going to be here. He's basically been the ambassador of the PGA Tour, and it's awesome to see him take such a leadership role. And he finally flashed last weekend for the first time this season. Actually in just his calendar year, he's already got 2 wins this year. But finished second last week at the Arnold Palmer. Just fell short last weekend. But he knows this course. He's won it. He's missed the cut only twice in his last like 8 trips, including 4 top 10 finishes and the win in 2019. So I'll definitely have Rory in some lineups this weekend.
Drew, who are a few golfers that you're going to be spending up on? I know that we hit some high price ones already, former champions or past champions, but who are some of the other golfers that you're spending up for?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the playbook right now. I'm formulating. It'll be out tomorrow morning, but Rory's going to be in there. Scotty, Homa. We talked about Justin Thomas. I also like Victor Hovland a lot this weekend, and Will Zalatoris. You get a great deal on Zalatoris this week. I just can't ignore his price tag at 8,800. He's too good of a player to be sitting there at 8,800. So just because there's so many good players, somebody's got to go down the playbook. So you're getting some great values this weekend, and he's one of my favorites.
Are there any golfers priced differently on FanDuel, DraftKings that make them more appealing based on the price on the specific site?
I will say it's pretty close this weekend, just with the normal price change because it's FanDuel and DraftKings. They're pretty similar as far as where they are price-wise. I can't say there's too many guys that are just like obvious, oh, this guy's so much different. I was looking it over and I didn't see a lot of differences.
At Drew Phelps 05 on Twitter is where you can find Drew Phelps, and also fantasyalarm.com, and especially in our Discord channels as well for the PGA Players Championship this week. Let's talk about some of the mid-valued options here and some of the cheaper golfers here in DFS, Drew, that you're planning on placing in some of your lineups.
So Jason Day is a guy you just can't ignore right now, and he's a former #1 player in the world. He's won a major champion, and he just had some injury issues. He had some personal issues and kind of fell off for a couple years there, but he has found his form once again. He's had a fantastic run since the start of this calendar year. Listen to this, he's finished 18th, 7th, 5th, 9th, and 10th in his last 5 starts. I mean, you can't get much better than that. Just hasn't had a win yet, but it's going to come the way he's playing right now. And he's got good history at this course as well. He won in 2016, and he's got 3 other top 10 finishes as well. So, I mean, Jason Day is a guy you can't ignore this weekend. Chris Kirk just won 2 weeks ago. He's got good history here. Adam Scott's another name. And then Keegan Bradley is another, he is a great tournament play. He's one of those guys you never know what you're going to get week to week, but he can really spike and can win a tournament for you, GPP, because he's a guy that his ownership is always middle, and if he scores, he's going to help you propel you to a win. So I like Keegan Bradley. It's like boomer bust type play this weekend.
What were some of your fades for the week?
So guys, I'm going to stay away from. Rahm is just hard to play at 11-8, and he actually doesn't have great history on this course, so I am not going to pay up for him this week. And I know it's hard to stay away from Rahm, but 11-8 is a huge price tag and not the greatest history on this course. So I'm going to stay away from Rahm this week. Don't love Colin Morikawa this weekend. Again, another guy, not great history, and he missed the cut just last weekend at the Arnold Palmer. He's been kind of flash in the pan. He either finishes top 10 or he misses the cut. He's been kind of all over the place. And one other guy I'm going to stay away from is Jordan Spieth. Just not seeing the consistency from him. And you got to have you got to be accurate right now. And he's kind of all over the place with his irons. So I'm going to stay away from Jordan Spieth.
I was thinking of you, Drew, because this came up on Instagram. I saw this video, the old school ESPN commercial where Stuart Scott and Scott Van Pelt are watching Arnold Palmer actually make himself an Arnold Palmer with the half lemonade, half iced tea. Yeah, they're just staring in awe of him. And I immediately thought of you about that. I shared that.
Do you know how much money he made? So much because he's a part owner. Well, his family foundation is part of the Arizona iced tea line. So he owns a part of that brand. So he is worried. He made so much money. He's a part owner. He helped found it. And that's why you see the Arnold Palmer, you can get the drink made from Arizona because he's a part owner of the company. Yeah. He's helped found it.
Amazing. Yeah. I saw that commercial and I immediately, you're the first.
Yeah.
Those This Is Sports Center commercials amazing job.
I still love the Devils one where the guy's about to go down, you going down. Yeah.
The one with like Big Poppy at like the table, and they're messing.
What's your favorite,
around.
Ronus?
He doesn't remember. He doesn't.
Yeah, I don't. He doesn't. Commercials leave my mind quickly. I have other things.
Ronus is so focused, Drew, on his fantasy baseball draft tonight. You see it all over.
I'm focused.
He's not researching trips to the Caribbean yet. You're not looking.
No, it could be happening. I'm looking at Guyana.
Okay.
You have any recommendations about Guyana?
Guyana, I haven't heard about that one. I'll have to ask Katie, my wife. She's the traveler. I'll ask her if she knows any good resorts there.
Yeah, and also if there are any homes there available as well, Ronus might be looking to move there.
How's the internet down there for broadcasting?
Probably not the best. You might have to bring a hotspot with you. Use your phone.
Yeah, wow, Matt Deutsch is like all nervous now. They better have a modem to plug into an Ethernet cable right there. Ronus.
Got a hard line in, guys.
That's
it's going to be a hard line.
Oh wow! All right, Drew. Any bets that you plan on making for this tournament? You see what I'm dealing with over here?
See what I'm dealing with?
So if you're looking at the betting side of things, just the outright winners I like if you're going down the board. A guy I think you can steal value on this weekend is a guy like Tyrell Hatton. He plays really well on these Florida courses, and right now we're doing they call it the Florida swing. So we did the Honda 2 weeks ago, last week Arnold Palmer, this week the Players. So I like him a lot at what's his number at? He's at 3,500 to win. Cameron Young is a nice value at 40-1. Keegan, I talked about him. He's a boomer bust guy, but 50-1 is really tasty on him. Ricky Fowler's playing much better right now, so like 65 on him as well. And then I talked about Chris Kirk, 8,000 plus 8,000 is another good one. So those are some nice outright, I think, are good flyer bets this weekend.
Who's going to win the tournament?
If I'm going to put my money down on one guy, I'm going to go Max Homa. I just think he's playing so well right now. I love his game for this course. The putting from everything all around. I just think he's playing the most consistent right now. And if I had to pick a second, it'd be Rory. It's between Rory and Homa for me.
Drew Phelps, you could give him a follow on Twitter at DrewPhelps05 and follow all of his work at fantasyalarm.com. The DFS playbook for the Players Championship will be out tomorrow morning on the site. Drew, thank you so much for stopping by and tolerating us once again.
Thank you for having me on, boys. I hope we have you on in a couple weeks here. I think the next big one we'll probably do is the Masters in about 3 weeks.
Drew, if you want to join us like multiple times a week here to kind of give us a little separation here, feel free, man. You're always invited.
Anytime. We'll have a whole segment on where in the world is Ronus going to go.
Yes. Well, right. Yeah.
Will they have internet?
Yep. Ronus is going to be moving soon, everybody. He's going to be different. He's going to be the Intercontinental Champion right here. Thank you so much, Drew, for stopping by, man. Drew Phelps, again, find all his work, fantasyalarm.com. He has been hot lately when it comes to the golf. Rona, I don't know where to go after your hardline comment right here. So I'm just going to now say that you can watch the CAA Conference Championship game with us tonight at 7 Eastern and compete in our live Q&A contest on the Bettor Sports Network app. It's Charleston versus UNC Wilmington on BettorCast. Watch, play, and win prizes by answering predictive questions about the game while having fun chatting with our community in real time. Join us for BettorCast and the Bettor Sports Network app tonight at 7 Eastern. Tour Junkies will air on bettorsports.com and on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch at Bettor Network. Time to talk a little NBA. I keep looking at what Bernard wrote in the chat, and Arnold Palmer with raspberry iced tea. That sounds freaking awesome, Roan. You a raspberry iced tea guy?
No.
Okay. He's out of Ronus on Justin Fensterman. Let's talk about something that I know Ronus likes very much. Prop betting in the NBA on the playbook with Fensty and Ronus, powered by fantasyalarm.com here on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronus, presented by fantasyalarm.com. Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by fantasyguru.com.
Vladdy swings at the first pitch and lines it into right center.
How did a guy who was being selected in the first round pretty well everywhere last year, he proceeded to lose 33 runs, to lose 16 homers, to lose 14 RBIs and to lose 37 points in batting average. Oh, and 184 points in OPS. He went down everywhere. How does that guy, Vlad Jr., still register as the #1 fantasy first baseman? Ahead of Paul Goldschmidt, who won the MVP last season. Ahead of Mr. Freddie Freeman, who does the same thing every year, which is hit .315 with 25 homers and 100 ribbies. Ray, it's like Vlad Guerrero Jr. had nothing to worry about. It's like they thought they were getting him and his dad, as you can see there on the photo. You get both of them when you draft him at #1. I'm just surprised, and it was not a bad season, but Ray, it was such a disappointment compared to what he posted in 2000.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair to say. Vladimir Guerrero, in 3 of the 4 years, he's been average to good. He had one spectacular season. And we keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. The positives are the lineage, the positives are the skill set, the positives are the StatCast data, which everything's like top 5% murders the baseball. The negatives are he has not hit 275 in 3 or 4 years. We keep talking about this too. He does not hit the ball in the air. It's remarkable, his ability to hit 30-plus home runs, given that he never gets the ball in the air. His ground ball rate last year was 52%.
Well, and we're asking the question, how is he still #1 at first? But what catches me even more so, Ray, is the overall. I mean, he's a first-round pick overall, and I don't think he has any business in the first round. I look at his profile, and there are so many guys going behind Vlad that just have business in the first round that deserve to be there. Freeman, Machado, Bichette, Rafael Devers, I think maybe Pete Alonso. You put Austin Riley ahead of him. If he gets 310, 30, 190, he's a first rounder.
I think the play with Vlad is the batting average because he hits the ball monstrously hard. I could see him hitting 320.
Can you hit 320 with a 52% ground ball rate?
You can, but it helps if you're athletic and fast. And
yeah, exactly. And I get it. His hit tool's strong, Ray, and he's good. It's funny his ground ball percentage is that high because on the occasions when I get to watch Blue Jays baseball, I don't see it. I see him hit the ball. And it's not really grounders. I'm surprised the number is that high. It feels like he stings the baseball, but I guess there's just no lift overall in his game.
It's just a little tweak to his swing that could really lead to that growth back toward where he was in the home run column. And I think people, he's done it. This is not hypothetical. He did it 2 years ago, and he's still just 23.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Davis being very aggressive, turns, shoots, and scores. Brown misses that one. Kept alive by Vanderbilt. Picked up by Davis. Murray got leveled there. Inside pass to Vanderbilt. Feeds Brown. Back shot no good, but Davis to clean it up. Davis 4 to shoot. Guarded by Draymond Green. Makes the drive. Gets inside. It's good. Anthony Davis, another big bucket.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis. Presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
Lakers forward center Anthony Davis getting set to do battle with the John Morant-less Memphis Grizzlies. They're missing a few players here, and still they're favored by 2 points for this game. As we welcome you back to the Playbook on Bettor Sports Network, want to remind everybody, but right after us, Tuesdays, our Tour Junkies Golf Days on BSN. Join David Barnett and Pat Perry for entertaining and informative golf talk, including interviews with PGA Tour and Live Golf players and caddies. Have more fun with golf and win daily fantasy sports and betting with the Tour Junkies tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on bettorsports.com and on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch at Bettor Network. Getting some injury news, Roman, and something that is very crucial for this Knicks Hornets game, and that is that Jalen Brunson, who's been dealing with a sore foot, will once again be sidelined. And with that enters Emmanuel Quickley, who exploded the other night against Boston. And with that, man, I mean, that changes everything when it comes to strategy for props here. I can only imagine. I haven't looked at his numbers just yet, but I can imagine. What do you think? What are they saying for Quickley?
20.5 points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's averaging 19.4 as a starter this year. Obviously a little inflated because of the 38 last game. So he's gone over this number 4 times in his 11 starts this year.
That's
it
too
is
high, though, right?
It is a great matchup, but I mean, I guess let me see if they've moved Randall now. You got to think Randall's going to go crazy tonight, right? With no Brunson. It's 27.5 for Randall.
Wow.
28.5 on DK and BetMGM and FanDuel. So yeah, the big books moved it to 28.
Damn, too high, man, to want to bet on those props. Okay, it can happen. It's a good pace-up spot for the Knicks, but I'm right now it's looking like sticking with my Mitchell Robinson double-double prop that I talked about a little bit before here, thinking that he'll be able to get the job done against Mark Williams and company here. Outside of that, we're still waiting on some of the other injury news. We'll go over some players who are out, Rome. Then you can give us a glimpse of who's in the value video for the DFS players out there. The Bucks will be missing. Of course, I'm like, wow, Bucks favored. They were favored by 2 this morning. It's 2.5 now. Wondering why Giannis Antetokounmpo and Drew Holiday will be out for this game. And on the Magic side, they're going to be without Wendell Carter Jr. For the Wizards, we're waiting on Kyle Kuzma, who's a game-time decision. Monte Morris likely out here. Let me ask you this, Rome. Monte Morris doesn't play. You ever look at DeLon Wright props ever?
He's in the value video.
Boom.
Yeah, you could look at him. I mean, he's been tearing it up. I think his assist is not bad. Let's see. His assist line is 4.5. It is juiced up. You can get plus money at 5.5.
What about his steals?
1.5 at minus 130. That's not bad either, especially with this Detroit team.
Right. They're crap, and they're missing some of their crap, like half their lineup, it seems like. No Bojan Bogdanovic, no Killian Hayes, no Jalen Duren, no Isaiah Stewart, no Alec Burks, and Hamidou Diallo is going to miss the rest of the season with an ankle injury.
I thought he was going to be the key to my championship.
I guess not.
Dude, I'm glad this week doesn't count for me. Like, I have almost half my team out tonight.
Yeah, man. Not good. Not
yeah,
good.
Man. I hope this doesn't happen next week when the playoffs start, man.
Who are some of the do you have your team up right now, your fantasy basketball?
Yeah, well, Drew Holiday I have out tonight.
Right.
Jalen Williams I have out tonight. I had Tatum out the other day. Obviously, that was rest. I hope that he doesn't rest much down the stretch. I mean, I know they're playing for the 1 seed, so I know that was a different situation. I had Diallo.
You think both he and Horford weren't actually banged up? They just gave the designation so they could give him rest?
Well, the double overtime game, yeah. I mean, Tatum is a little banged up anyway. So Diallo.
I wrote up the injury report today, and I wasn't sure how to take it. I tried to do a little research there, and I wrote this in the write-up on fantasyalarm.com. I couldn't tell whether or not the injuries with both of those guys are real or fake. Obviously, Robert Williams has a strained hand.
I mean, Horford hasn't played many back-to-back, so I don't think he's hurt.
Right. So with that, other injuries that we're looking out for. So Detroit dealing with a lot of people. There's a reason Washington's favored by 10 points in this game. James Harden, we don't know if he's going to be able to play tonight. Harris, and Tucker all questionable. We know that Karl Anthony Towns is still out. Don't know when he's going to be back. Jalen Noel is out as well. No LaMelo Ball or Cody Martin for the Charlotte Hornets. Jalen Brunson has recently been ruled out. Ben Simmons still out for the Nets here as they're getting ready to battle the Rockets. The 230.5 total. The Warriors and Thunder in a 244 total game. Andrew Wiggins, man, I don't know what's going on with him. I feel like he hasn't played in weeks at this point. Have we even seen him since the All-Star break? It's just he's been dealing with all these personal issues. I hope everything's okay. Kevon Looney is questionable for this one. You mentioned Jalen Williams being out. Pokusevski is out as well. And then for the Jazz Mavs, with the Mavs favored by 9.5, a 237.5 total there. Sexton is out. Clarkson and Kessler are still questionable. Kleber, who cares? He's questionable. And then we know about the Grizzlies injuries. No John Morant, no Steven Adams, no Brandon Clark. D'Angelo Russell, we'll have to see if he'll return tonight, and that is the remaining questionable from that game. So that's something that we are on watch for, man. So where do we begin? Where do you want to begin when it comes to prop discussion?
I put this one in. Instead of doing the points for Mikal Bridges, I did the points and rebounds over 28.5. I think he might be able to get there on points alone, but I'll do the points and rebounds at 28.5 minus 120 on DK. I mean, this guy's just been balling since he came over. He's going up against Houston tonight. Last game, 33-8 versus the Hornets, 38-10 against the Celtics. So he's gone over this number in 4 of the last 5 games, 6 of the last 8. He's taken so many shots from the field, 21 and 22 the last 2 games. He's not been a huge rebounder, but he does have 8 and 10 the last 2 games. It is Houston. So I like him. I think you can look at Cam Johnson tonight too, whether it's his points or his threes. His over 2.5 threes is minus like 135. I know he hasn't gone over in the last 2 games, but this is a great matchup here for him.
Volume's been there though, Ron. He's taken at least 7 threes in 4 of his last 5 games.
Or you could look at his
plus 6.
His points is up to 17.5 points. He didn't go over against the Hornets, but I see him going over tonight, and that would he's gone over 17.5 in 4 of the last 5 games. The volume is going to be there against Houston. Now, here's something interesting I was looking at. Tari Eason for tonight. I know he's coming off the bench. Have you seen what he's been doing?
Yes.
His points prop is 10.5.
So here's the interesting thing. I was expecting, as I'm sure a lot of people were, once they got their backcourt back and healthy, because Porter's return, that all those other guys were going to lose out on shots. Tari Eason, over his last few games, continues to take double-digit field goal attempts, man. 13, 11, 11, 10, 12 in his last few games, in his last 5 games, double-digit, man. And you're telling me this guy's point prop is at 10.5. Why? We're fearing the matchup with Mikal Bridges. I mean, that's a really low point total.
So do we play the points total or the points and rebounds?
What's the PRs?
17.5.
Man. Let's talk about this for a second. Do you think that he gets locked up by Mikal Bridges? Because that's what I'm guessing the matchup he's going to draw.
You think so?
I mean, unless they put him on do you think they put Bridges on Jalen Green? Maybe they take that approach.
Well, if Eason's coming off the bench, how much is he going to see? He'll see Bridges, but how much?
Good point, touche, although he will play a lot of minutes, Bridges. But
yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point you just brought up there. Let me add this tidbit in. 30-plus minutes in 3 of his last 4, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to be on the floor. I mean, I know he's taken 13, 11, 11, 10, 12 shots. The rebounds, he's gotten at least 7 in 4 of the last 5. So his points, rebounds, 17.5. He's had 25, 25, 17, 29, 27. Now, the points, only 10.5. He's at 17, 20, 10, 17, 15.
I might have to go the PRs. Let's just say he gets a little bit of Bridges and the scoring's a little limited. Let's then maybe hedge a little bit with the rebounds because of how much he's been rebounding lately.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's not a bad play. I'm thinking about it.
You worry at all? I mean, look at the score of some of these games here, Roan. I mean, they crushed the Spurs by over 30 points last game. Game before, 12-point game. Game before, I mean, these are all double-digit games. Is his playing time a product of that?
What you think I mean, it's a 7.5 point line tonight. You think it's going to stay close?
No, I don't.
I mean, you would think too that he's a guy they'll let play.
They have to get him reps. Mm-hmm. I feel like this guy, you and I have talked about him a few times, brought in on his defense. The offense, I don't want to say is a bonus, but that's secondary. But we've seen that offense coming through. This is a guy who's shooting at least 50% from the field in 4 of his last 5 games. We got to do something with him tonight, man. We got to do something. I mean,
okay, and let's. So I don't know if we brought it up during the show, but Chris Middleton for the Bucks tonight.
We talked about that on our own.
Yeah, 7:00 game here. So he has gone over points, rebounds, like 7 straight games without Drew and Giannis. They're both out now. I don't know. He played 27 minutes against the Sixers. I guess that's the most he's played.
Very encouraging.
Yeah. Does he start? I mean, it might not matter. I mean, he's come close to this in the games he's played anyway. He had a bad game against the Sixers, but against the Nets, 18-4 in 23 minutes, 11-10 in 25 minutes against the Suns, 12-4, 16-11, 25 minutes against Boston, 22-5, 25 minutes against the Lakers. So it's the Magic. And you got to figure he's going to take 15 shots from the field, right?
Yeah, 15. Yeah, I'd say between.
I mean, look at what he's taken outside of the Sixers game, 13, 13, 16, 18 in the games with 23 3 minutes or more.
I can buy that.
And you have no Giannis, no Drew.
Well, here's the other thing I'm thinking about with this game flow too, which could benefit him. He's not going to, the Magic don't really run up and down the floor. So I think a maybe slower paced game will benefit a guy like Middleton. Doesn't have to do too much. And so I kind of like that. And it makes me want to look at it. Plus, Magic are pretty garbage against small forwards and I believe power forwards as well. So they're not really good at defending them. I don't mind that tonight. I'm fine with that. What are you seeing as point props at?
22.5.
Wow.
For points and rebounds.
Okay, for points and rebounds. What about points alone?
It was 18.5. Let's see. Yeah, 18.5.
Man, books making the decision difficult here. What do you think?
No, points and rebounds up to 23.5 now.
I mean, can we rely on his rebounding, you think? I mean, it's been a little all over the place, no?
Yeah, but they have no Giannis.
They don't have Giannis. That's a good point.
I mean, we only need him to get 4 or 5.
Right. Now, that's not bad.
I mean, he had a 10 rebound game against the Suns, 11 against Boston.
I'm looking up very quickly to see what Bobby Portis has done lately. It's 19 minutes and stuff. I mean, I just can't rely on Bobby Portis. I'm all right with the points there. I am. I mean, I'm more into the Easton props that you were just talking about before. But with Middleton, what do you like better, the points alone or the points rebounds?
Points rebounds.
Yeah. You going to place the bet?
I don't know. I'm
the Easton. I'm doing something with Easton right now. Are you going points or are you going points boards? I mean, I want to go either one. It's a great call, and the Nets should kill them tonight.
I mean, it's the Nets, so.
Well, it's just the net. It's more the Rockets and how they play suck. Mm-hmm. You know, that's really what it comes down to. So I'm totally cool with this, man. I might have
wait. You know, hold on. Let's see. Middleton does get some assists too. Do you like points and assists better? I mean, because but then again, how many of those assists are going to Giannis?
Right.
But
do you think he'll run some of the offense tonight with no Holiday?
Probably will a little bit, right?
Yes, that's what I'm feeling. Just how much is he going to run the offense here?
I mean, even with those guys there, he's had 6, 5, 4 assists.
Maybe points assists would be better here.
That's a little higher at 24.5.
What about his PRAs? They give us a nice line for that.
29.5.
They're just like, screw you. We know that you guys want Middleton. Gonna hike up those numbers a little bit, bro. I mean, I think that from what we're seeing when it comes to the trends, that the assists are a little bit more reliable than rebounds. You expect him to probably play more at the arc anyway, right?
Yeah.
So probably that's the direction that I would go.
There's a lot.
What are his threes at?
I guess it's 2.5 or 3.5.
If it was 1.5, that's
it is one. It's juiced up. It's minus 191.5 on DK.
I was going to say if it was at minus 130, I'd play that right now.
Well, you could parlay that with your Mitchell Robinson double.
Well, guess what I did?
What?
I parlayed both of our first plays already with Mitchell Robinson.
So what was the juice on that?
Plus 245.
That's not bad.
No, I put in like $15 on that one for a $51 payout. Which I think with Tyus Jones, he's the big cheese there in Memphis. And Mitchell Robinson, I mean, again, I just 10-10 should not be too tough for him in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it shouldn't, as long as it can stay somewhat close.
Right.
Knicks are favored by 10 still?
Yes. I was asked about this earlier. What would you say? Would you take the Knicks with the points? I try not to mess with double-digit spreads. I've been burned enough by them.
Probably not, man.
No Brunson. You don't know. I mean, what if they're off shooting? You know? It's not like they've got somebody else that's going to be as explosive that's going to be able to keep them in a 20-point lead the whole game. Could be wrong about that. But remember, with that game they played against the Nets, they were shooting over 60% the entire game from wire to wire. No, they're not going to get many games like that. So that's 10-point spread is just too tough for me, Rome. While we decide here what we're going to do, especially with Tari Eason, who once again, good call by the Roman. Something else I'm going to give Ronas credit to. We were mean enough in the first hour. Let's flip it in the second hour. You and I went back and forth a little bit regarding who was going to be the prioritized scorer and shooter in Brooklyn between Bridges and Dinwiddie. I kind of was expecting Dinwiddie to have most of the time with the ball, and I was also expecting him to line up a lot from the arc since he's a set shooter. You're right, though, man. You're seeing a lot of those games with a ton of shots, a huge shot volume for Mikal Bridges. He's the number one option there, man. You were right about that.
Yeah, I figured that was going to happen, man. And he's been amazing, man. Just taking over games, just putting up sick numbers, man.
I never thought of him as a 20 to 25 point per game scorer. I always thought that he was going to, throughout his career, be a nice journeyman, 15 to 20, maybe a better version of Trevor Ariza, for instance. Trevor Ariza played amazing perimeter defense, was able to get to the rim, was able to shoot threes some years. Other years, he missed every three. But Mikal Bridges has been absolutely incredible. It's funny because, I mean, when Mikal Bridges was drafted, I think this was Mikal Bridges. His mom, he was drafted by the Sixers. His mom worked for the Sixers, and I believe at the time. She was so excited. Then they traded him that night on draft night. Do you remember that? Like, they interviewed his mom and all excited. Then they traded him. They traded his rights out west. It was just crazy there. So let's decide what we're doing here with Tari Eason. Let's decide what we're doing with Chris Middleton. We'll let all of you mull it over. Let us know what you're betting tonight here by hitting us up in the chat or tweeting us at Bettor Network. And we're getting you ready for the upcoming baseball season with the Bettor Baseball Preview, from fantasy baseball to MLB betting and the newest baseball cards for 2023. I actually got some new cards recently for MLB for 2023. Maybe I'll show you guys some of them over the next few days here. I'll pick a random card, and whatever player it is, we'll ask the Road Man for some player analysis or whether or not he's interested in drafting that player. It could be a little fun game. Good idea. You can access our exclusive content, the Bettor Baseball Preview, absolutely for free right now at bettorsports.com, featuring some of the best baseball minds in the industry, like Adam Ronis. He's right here. Ray Flowers, Kyle Elfring, and Cody Decker. By the way, I'll just say this. Cody Decker, who I spoke to the other day, former big leaguer, thinks and is very, very, very sure that Shohei Ohtani will not be a member of the Angels by the time we hit that trade deadline. He's sure of it. Let's see what happens there. Get player profiles, prop bets, and future sleepers and busts. Also, fantasy draft strategy, collectibles, and more at no cost. Please register with your name and email at bettorsports.com right now and get instant access plus notifications when new features are released. Go to bettorsports.com and sign up for the Bettor Baseball Preview. Not the best baseball preview, the Bettor Baseball Preview. More NBA action coming up. We barely scratched the surface, but that's because when we have some good props we're locked in on here, like to keep the conversation flowing. Basketball talk it is here on the Playbook on BSN.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Let's talk a little NBA, because I found it interesting yesterday with those that are now all of a sudden going to be critical of Nikola Jokic and what he's accomplishing this year for the Denver Nuggets. As Denver is the top seed in the Western Conference right now, they've won 44 games so far during the course of the NBA regular season, and Nikola Jokic is well on his way to being a three straight time NBA MVP in the regular season. He's been remarkable. He's averaging a triple-double, nearly 25 points per game, over 11 rebounds a game, and 10 assists per game. His remarkable accomplishments have really poo-pooed or knocked down the idea of voter fatigue, which was a huge part of the conversation coming into the NBA regular season, thinking that there have only been three men, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Larry Bird, that have ever won 3 consecutive NBA regular seasons. Mind you, you could never give that to Nikola Jokic, because think about the historical ramifications it would be in the NBA. LeBron's never done it. Michael's never done it. How could Nikola Jokic do it? And then you get this, and it's the case of the hot take world that we're in, or I need something to say, or let's think of a different angle to approach a topic. But the idea that Nikola Jokic is a stat padder is complete and utter nonsense. I mean, you've had one person after another come out saying Nikola Jokic is not looking at his stat line during the course of an NBA game. He's not focused in on whether or not where his rebounds are, where his assists are in any particular game. He's having an historic season. He's shooting nearly 64% from the floor. He is being economical in the way that he's going about his business offensively. He's distributing the basketball. He's also been a willing rebounder as well. Why be critical of something that we're watching, which is historic? We're seeing him do stuff that no other NBA player has ever been able to go out there and accomplish. So as we go and look at Jokic, and he is going to be the MVP. It's not going to be Joel Embiid with the Philadelphia 76ers. It's not going to be anybody else that you want to throw out there. As we watch the brilliance of the Denver Nuggets, and everyone looks at the Western Conference and wants to look at teams like the Phoenix Suns if Kevin Durant is healthy, or the Los Angeles Clippers, or the Sacramento Kings, or, let's be honest, the very, very immature Memphis Grizzlies, and everybody wants to pick anybody else but the Denver Nuggets to come out of that West and get to themselves to the NBA Finals, even throwing the Golden State Warriors into the equation as the defending NBA champs. Well, I think we have to have a lot of respect for what Denver's been able to do this regular season and a healthy respect of going into the postseason. And I also think we have to have a respect of what Nikola Jokic is accomplishing as well, and not be critical just for the sake of being critical. That, to me, is utterly nonsense. For more content like this, check out Bettor Network at TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and also on YouTube.
Conley surveys. Lob. It goes to go.
We've got a great relationship, and to be his teammate again, just to be around him both on and off the court is, refreshing, and just see him out there. And as far as what I can do to help him, I think, just the way I play the game and my unselfishness and trying to get him the ball in certain spots where he can truthfully, dominate and be effective. I'm not really working too hard to do that. It just kind of happens. As long as I can keep him confident and keep him, happy. You always want to feed the big man and let him eat a little bit, and, he gives you more and more each game.
Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
Justin Fensterman, Adam Rodas back with you. You just heard Mike Conley, Timberwolves guard, talking about Timberwolves center Rudy Gobert. And I got to give it to Mike Conley, Roan. He's actually, considering the last few years have been marred by injuries for him, he's actually put up a very solid year, scoring about 11 points per game, over 7 dimes, a steal per game as well. Somebody who I put in multiple DFS value videos. He kind of sticks in that 5,500 to 6K range. And on a good night with a nice pace-up spot, especially in a situation like he's in with no Karl Anthony Towns, Mike Conley's actually put together a very solid year. Just to think that when he was drafted, Greg Oden, who, by the way, Greg Oden and Mike Conley, both Ohio State guys, had the same agent, Mike Conley's father, and Mike Conley was just kind of an afterthought. Greg Oden, larger than life, the premier center, could barely get off the ground due to constant lower body injuries here. Mike Conley has made such a great career for himself, man, and he's just had a very solid year all around for the aging vet.
Yeah, definitely has. Nothing outstanding, but very solid.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's shooting a shade over 41%. So, and he's been on multiple teams, including that wasteland Utah team that everybody thought was just going to be, that's about it, then gets traded. So it's just been very nice to see here. He's coming off of a 24-point performance against the Sacramento Kings. Let's continue talking bets. The more I mull this over, Roan, because I see on DraftKings, the Easton points prop is at minus 150. I'm thinking of going points and boards for him. The more I think about it now, he has been rebounding, allows me to hedge just a little bit, just in case Bridges does play about 38 minutes or so, and he's on Easton for a little bit, even when the second unit comes in for Houston. So I'm still thinking of the points boards here rather than just the points. What about you? Have you given any more thought to this?
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaning to.
17.5 on DraftKings. It's very doable for him. A very solid defender and someone who hopefully by next year we're able to see what this guy could do in terms of growth. I thought from the start, the Rockets completely messed it up. I'm going to go on a little soapbox here. The Rockets completely messed up their lineup to start the year. To not start Alperen Şengün was stupid.
Yeah, but they started him pretty quickly after that.
They did, but you know why that was? Because Bruno.
Does it really matter? We knew they were going to suck this year.
Yeah, but it does matter because for the seasonal players, I mean, I know you and I talked a lot about Şengün, but
Yeah, I
a
drafted
horrible
him.
decision. Yeah, a horrible decision by them. The only reason he got in the starting lineup was out of circumstance because Fernando got hurt. So that's when they switched it up. But I never understood why Şengün came in off the bench. And I also thought, in that same breath, I also thought that Tari Eason, who, when they got him with pick number 21 or whatever it was, or around that area, when they got him, I thought he should be starting immediately, especially with Jay Sean Tate hurt going in. They ended up not starting him. They slow played him. They slow played Jabari Smith. And you want to see these pieces grow here. Now we're seeing what Eason can do. And just very encouraging, even with both Kevin Porter and Jalen Green healthy. This guy's still taking 10-plus shots per game lately, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, I did the points rebounds.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now with it as well. So Tari Eason over 17.5 points plus rebounds. Ron, why don't you talk about, you already mentioned DeLon Wright. What about some of the other players in your value video up at fantasyalarm.com for DFS?
Mitchell Robinson.
Very good.
Xavier Tillman.
Oh, wow. You were able to get – so I forget if he qualifies at power forward on both.
On FanDuel.
Oh, he just – okay, on FanDuel.
Right? Yeah, I think one of them, he's on power forward.
Yes. So you got Xavier Tillman in there as well. Brandon Clark being out, that's going to be a good one. He's been scoring in double figures lately, Xavier Tillman, a lot.
Yeah, and they need him. And he had a 18 and 11 against the Lakers last time he played them.
Yeah, no, that's a smart move right there. Very cheap, too, Xavier Tillman. So at some point, Steven Adams is going to come back. I thought it would be sooner rather than later, but it looks like we're still a few games away. Brandon Clark done for the year. So what about who else is there? So you said, so it was Wright, Tillman, Robinson. Who are your others?
Tyus Jones.
Yep. Okay. That's a must.
And McDaniels for Philly if Tobias and Tucker are out, because he played 30 minutes last night, had a good game.
Yep, for sure. So we'll have to see there, awaiting some injury updates regarding some of these Sixers players. Why is Red Rum saying my name should be in the title of the show the way I saved it when I helped Adam today? How did Red Rum help you today, Ronas?
He kind of helped me. I had a computer issue, and I might not have been able to do the show today, at least on this computer. But yeah, I mean, he kind of helped, but
Ronas, can
relax.
you stop downloading so much porn?
I don't. I do not watch porn on my computer.
Man.
I don't. Not on my computer. I never do. And this is a work computer. I would never do that.
Okay, good. I mean,
come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I do it on my phone.
Why are you having computer issues then?
I don't know. Something happened. He's a tech guy, so
you can't even have a Zoom meeting, you and me.
Because I know, and it's the same damn laptop. I don't know what's going on here.
What did Red say about Zoom? Did you even bring up the Zoom issues that you're having?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you should think about that. Red Rum, I know you're watching here. Ronas, for some reason, the only person I've ever met who has frequent Zoom issues, can't even log in to a freaking video.
Only on this laptop. It doesn't happen on my other ones.
Yes, very, very
He probably
strange.
doesn't want me to see you. I can't blame it.
Why? I'm a good look. We've already established this. I'm a good looking guy.
According to who?
Everybody thinks I'm good looking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Come on. If you polled 100 people, how many of those 100 people would you say, yes, Fenstey's good looking?
Is your wife included?
No, because that would be too biased.
Okay, then one.
Wow. All right, let's what would Adam Bernard vote, you think, and Tony LaBarbera?
They would both say no.
Wow. That's very nice right there. What about you? What's your vote?
No.
Okay, your vote's a no as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Looking at some of the other injuries here, you were mentioning about Jalen Williams. I mean, he's going to miss the next few games we're seeing right now.
The next few games?
Yeah, 2 games at least.
Oh, geez, I need this guy for my playoffs, man.
Yeah, man. You might want to start reconsidering here. You want me to drop some players so you can pick them up? You're not my type, Fensty. Thanks so much, AB. I really appreciate it.
I need him back next week, man.
Yeah, you do. You got a semifinal, bro. You got to get ready for it. What about Walker Kessler not going to play for Utah? He's going to be out as
Kelly
well.
Olynyk.
Yes, that's we going back to him. What's his point prop at? They probably
prop
removed
is
it.
now. I mean, that helps me for my season long week. Not that points is 12.5.
Not bad.
Rebound 6.5.
I don't think that's bad, the point prop.
I've been playing his rebounds. Points and rebounds 19.5.
Let's look at some of his logs lately here with Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk over his last few games here, we're looking at 15-10, 15-3, 8-10. What did you say his PRs were at?
19.5.
Okay, so it's literally right there. If you're telling me the points are at 12.5, man, I just wish he took some more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The rebounds might be better.
The rebounds themselves?
Yeah. With no Kessler, I mean, I was going to consider Kessler's rebounds tonight, and then I saw he was ill.
Yeah. 10-3, 10-8, 7. I think that might be the direction we go, Roan. I think that's
so much tonight. I just don't want to bet like crazy. Like we didn't even get to Golden State, man. Like
no,
Steph
we're
Curry
having a
tonight?
good conversation.
Steph Curry tonight, like in this spot against the Thunder, this team needs to win. He's coming off a game where he came back, had 27 points, 6 assists in 32 minutes, shot 8 of 20. His points and assists total, I believe, is 31.5.
His last game against the Thunder, by the way, 38 points, 8 and 12.
Yeah, man. Like, I feel like you got to play some Curry props tonight.
Yeah, we got to do something. I mean,
do we do
points and assists?
Or points and assists?
What are his points and assists at?
31.5. It's juiced at -140 on DraftKings. It's 32.5 on FanDuel and BetMGM.
I don't mind that. I think that'll be fine.
Let me see what I can get it at on Bet365.
Thinking that he would get 6 to 7 assists tonight. If you're telling me he needs to score,
it's the highest total of the night, 243.5.
Yeah, yeah.
And SGA is playing.
He is playing. So I'm thinking that if we're going to do anything, points and assists is probably our best bet for here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's might as well.
Oh, well, they took Golden State's numbers down on Bet365, though.
Oh, okay. I was going to say we might be getting some news then. We might be getting some news. We'll have to see. Let me see if it's still up here.
Looney expected to play. Iguodala expected to play. What does that change?
That shouldn't change.
Yeah, what the hell is this?
No, that shouldn't change at all.
Let me see if it's what we got on, if it's available on FanDuel.
Wow, they took most of the props off on DraftKings.
It's still there for FanDuel. They got Curry at points and assists 32.5.
I like that number.
Yeah, he should get there. I mean, before he got hurt, he was putting up like 30s left and right.
Right.
I mean, so wait, yeah, he's had, so his last few games, 33, 28, but that was in 26 minutes. That was a game he got hurt. 33, 32, 50, 46, 37, 33, 36, 43. I mean, he's pretty much going over it all the time.
Yeah, no, it's as soon as they put them back up here on.
Why would they take it down? I don't get it.
I don't get that either. Did you see whether or not in passing if Gary Harris is out? Did you see at all if Gary Harris is out? Because if
I haven't seen.
He's out. He's out.
Okay.
So let me ask you this here. Jalen Suggs, he's been playing better over his last couple of games. Back-to-back 15-point efforts. Bucks missing some players tonight here.
I don't want to mess with him, man.
You don't? Okay.
Yeah, there's too many other good plays tonight to mess with that.
Right.
I mean, you can do it, but
I'm just trying to get a low line here.
Fultz
is in a good spot as well. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, man, as soon as they put Curry props back up here, I'm going to bet them. I'm going to bet one of them, the points and assist props. I think that 32.5 is something very doable. He crushed them.
He might get there on points alone.
Right. He crushed them. So I just waiting to see if they'll put back up the odds for that. Looking at some of the other games here, I mean, we talked about Jazz Mavericks.
What about Draymond's rebounds and assists?
We could look at that. Oh, we haven't played that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Last 3 or 4 times we played that, it hit. Here.
Well, now with Curry back, I think it helps too.
Who's going to stop him on the Thunder? They have nobody to stop him. Dario Saric.
The rebound should be there for him.
Right. Exactly. Damn. Let's see if they have that number, man. They're really holding back these props for this game on DraftKings. Kind of annoying, kind of frustrating, actually.
Or, I mean, I don't know. Do you feel more comfortable with Curry's points?
I mean, I feel more comfortable with either number. I probably feel more comfortable with the points and assists.
Points are 26.5 on DK, 27.5 on every other book.
That's not bad, too. By the way, the rebounds and assists, I'm seeing, 14.5 for Draymond Green. I like that. We're gonna put a little, that's going to be my third bet of the night here. Draymond Green. And I'm going to also, I'm going to probably do the Curry bet as well. Because, I mean, what do you like better? Points or points and assists for him?
Middleton is starting.
He is starting.
Mm-hmm. Carter, Allen, Middleton, Portis, and Lopez.
You think he hits 30 minutes tonight?
He could. He had 27 last game.
Yeah, no Giannis, no Drew Holiday in that matchup.
Pistons start Ivy, Magruder, Livers, Bagley, Wiseman.
I'm not going to Bagley tonight, meaning he's probably going to have 23 and 12.
Probably, yeah.
That's just how it rolls with Marvin Bagley. I can't get this guy right, man. I don't know what to do. He just shot like hell last game. He was taking double-digit shots. He was playing 35 minutes. What else do we have to do with him? I just don't get it. It's frustrating. It's always frustrating when you think you have a good line on a player, and then all of a sudden, just like that, they shoot like crap, and you don't benefit from it. We almost got there on the double-double.
Yeah.
In the last 4 minutes, he finally woke up. So that's something to think about as well. We'll continue watching to see what other injury news comes out for the NBA. He's Adam Ronis. I am Justin Fensterman. This is the Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, and want to remind all of you once again to watch the CAA Conference Championship game with us tonight at 7 Eastern right after us, and compete in our live Q&A contest on the Bettor Sports Network app. It's Charleston versus UNC Wilmington on Bettor Cast. Watch, play, and win prizes by answering predictive questions about the game while having fun chatting with our community in real time. Join us for Bettor Cast on the Bettor Sports Network app tonight at 7 Eastern. Tour Junkies will air on bettorsports.com and on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch at Bettor Network. We'll get back talking a few more NBA props as well. We'll sum it all up to see what exactly we're going in on. We knew we threw a lot at you, but that's what happens when you have a nice, healthy slate of games here. Fensty and Ronis back with you on the Playbook on Bettor Sports Network.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Bettor Sports Network.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
We're talking catchers. And Ray, as we jump into this position, traditionally, this has been a position that you kind of say, well, there's like 2-3 guys and the rest is just junk. And gosh, I'm in a 2-catcher league. How in the hell am I going to fill 2 spots, in this 12-man league? And it's such a struggle after the 8th catcher. Like, fair to say it's different now? I mean, I know it's not great, but it feels like the best catcher pool I've seen in a while, like at least a half decade, in terms of, wow, we've got some hitters, we've got guys, and I know they're not exclusively catchers, and the DH is helping, certainly, but it looks like we're going, 10, 12 deep at least of feeling good about catchers, I think.
I tier the players at positions because I think that's a really good way to look at them. And when you tier players, you're basically putting guys that are likely to produce similar levels of production in the same tier. One guy might be batting average, one guy might be home runs, that kind of a thing, but basically the same end result value-wise. I have 2 guys on the elite tier. I then have 9 guys or 8 guys on the next tier. And then I go all the way to 22 on the third tier, which basically almost gets us to that, 2 catchers in the 24, 12-team league kind of thing. So I agree with you. And I think that even if you look beyond that, there's some names that are outside my top 20 that I could easily see being top 15 catchers this year. So yeah, it's not wow, but it's good overall. We got some young guys coming in that are dynamic players to help out some of the older guys that are still hanging on. It's better than it has been. I agree with you.
It's actually very young, Ray. And that, I mean, you look at Varsho, Rauschman, William Contreras, Kirk, Melendez, Cal Riley's semi-young, but Hebert Ruiz. And there's still other guys coming up that are in the minors right now. It's, we used to always say all these young catchers, just catch, don't worry about hitting. These are guys are coming up with some skill sets as well.
Yeah, and the game is different now, right? Back in the day, you were an old dude that had no athleticism. You're good at blocking balls, and we hoped you'd pop 15 home runs, right? That was kind of the MO. Now it's different. Now we get more athletic guys. It's not that you have to be some dumpy, slow guy catching. You can be an athletic player that can play other positions, as you noted. So I think the youngsters are bringing more athleticism, kind of like the tight end position in football, right? It's like there is more athleticism at the tight end spot than there was 25 years ago. I think it's the same way at the catcher spot.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network. Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
The playbook with Betsy and Ronas continues on Bettor Sports Network here. And Ron, I forgot to tell you, actually was hanging out with some friends a few weeks ago. We opened a few packs of cards, and then what we do is we normally have a little competition to see who gets first pick in the insert draft. And I actually won it with the contest that we had this time. And I don't know if you've seen cards lately, but I ended up getting this Jalen Brunson autographed card right here. But here's the problem with cards these days, man. Back when we were growing up here, back in our day, when we were growing up, the cards themselves would get autographed. And then what happened was, and now with cards that are autographed, it's autographed on this little sticker area right here. So it's on the sticker that's then patched onto the card. I don't know, to me, it takes away the authenticity of it because you can clearly see that it's a little sticker patched onto this card with Jalen Brunson's autograph. So now I'm sitting there thinking, wow, Jalen Brunson's probably sitting there autographing 500 stickers, not the cards themselves. And I think that's kind of crap considering what the cost of cards are these days, man, because, it's just you want it to look like it is really autographed there. Technically, it's not the card. It's an autographed sticker that's placed on the card. This is actually the second time I won a contest with this group where I was able to get a Jalen Brunson either piece of memorabilia or an autograph. This time the autograph, the only problem is he's got his Mavericks jersey on and not the Knicks one there. Like, how big of a card collector were you when you were a kid?
Oh, when I was a kid, a lot.
Like, were you mainly baseball? Were there a lot of basketball out there when you were a kid? I feel like the market was still very much baseball and football.
Yeah, huge baseball.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, man, I got this Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. It was on the cover of Beckett a zillion times. And with this rookie card, you would think it's Ken Griffey Jr. It's worth a lot. It's worth like $35. It's just like a normal card, but it is his rookie card. So
Tobias Harris is playing.
Tobias Harris isn't tonight.
James Harden is out.
Wow. Okay. That changes everything here. What about, Tyrese Maxey already?
Yeah, right. Let's go. Better. What do we got? Oh, well, let's see. They probably pulled it. It's 22.5, 23.5 on DK points.
Too close. Too close.
Yeah.
Too close of a line for me. So let's kind of sum up what we have.
An assist for Maxey?
What's that at?
26.5, 27.5.
Okay. I'd rather than betting where he's just going over the points line. I'd rather do the points and assists then, if that's the direction you're going. I got the Curry points and assists.
I played it.
Over 31.5.
Yeah, I played it.
I got the Draymond Green assists and rebounds over 17 and over 14.5, the assists and rebounds. I also have Tari Eason over points plus rebounds. And then what I did was I parlayed. So I've got 4 bets and I parlayed our 2 picks of Tyus Jones over 23.5, which was your first play. And then Mitchell Robinson getting the double-double, which was my first play at plus 245 odds. That's what I've got so far that I bet. By the way, our producer, Adam Bernard, that's why he's the resource there. I did leave my house to participate in these contests right here, Roan. And I did get at this card store from a grab bag. I got this Anthony Davis card as well, numbered to 97. We haven't even talked about AD props yet.
Yeah, they're going to be really high, man. That's the only issue.
Yeah, that's the problem with him now, man. It's like if we want to like do a double parlay with him, that's probably the only direction that I go when involved with Anthony Davis.
His points prop is 28.5. His rebound prop is 13.5, 14.5 on FanDuel. And points rebounds is 42.5, 43.5 on FanDuel. I mean, look, he's been coming really close on points. And who's going to slow him down on Memphis?
No one.
Right? I mean,
no one.
Let's
Xavier Tillman, no. Jackson, no.
I mean, so he's had 39 and 38 the last 2 games, 28 and 30.
And they just played, right?
Yeah, he had 28 and 19 and 5 blocks.
I mean, what do you
47.
think? That's a big number, though, man.
I know that's the only issue. I mean, look, I would consider the points rebounds.
Yeah,
it's a high number, 42.5, but he's gone over it in 1, 2, 3, 4 straight games. No LeBron, and he did go over against Memphis. He's playing 38, 32, 36, 37 minutes. I mean, they need him to produce right now.
Right. So
he's
that's
25, 22 shots the last 2 games. He's gotten to the free throw line at least 13 times in 3 straight.
So if you were picking between the Maxey points and assist prop that you were talking about or the Anthony Davis points rebound prop, what do you like better if you were placing one bet?
You trust Davis more because of the spot he's in.
Right.
You know,
sure.
Actually, Tobias Harris is usually good when one of those guys are out too.
You've mentioned this before on this show.
Let's see if they put his numbers up.
You've also mentioned that you tend to be shying away from players who are just coming back from injury.
I mean, if he's playing, I got to assume he's okay. It's not like he's been out a long time. He missed 1 game.
Yep. By the way, whoever's calling me right now, I keep getting this spam risk number. Stop.
That's me.
Stop. Okay? Enough. Stop bothering me with your stupid spam calls. Okay? I'm not going to answer them. If I don't recognize your number, I am not going to answer the phone call, especially during the show. Bernard, dude, can you stop prank calling me, man? What are you doing? What, Bernard, why are you trying to distract me? Is it Tony? Is it the franchise who's doing this, Bernard? Why am I getting these calls?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're just trying to throw you off your game, and you clearly just got thrown off.
I mean, it's so easy.
Well, people should stop bothering and distracting me then. Dang, everyone's giving me our agita over here. Come on.
How about Kyrie Irving over 25.5 points tonight?
Looking at his line, it's a great matchup. Let's start there. I mean, he's facing Chris Dunn at this point. So with that, 30-40 in his last 2 games.
It seems like they're starting to figure out how to play with each other, him and Luka.
Yeah, it's called hitting shots. That's pretty much what it comes down to now. I mean, he shot over 52%.
Points and assists.
52% over
31.5 points and assists.
You said 31.5?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad as well. Not bad. You're not worried about a blowout in this game, are you?
I guess a little bit. I mean, Dallas doesn't blow anyone out. I talked about this. They've been and they suck against the spread. They're one of the worst teams. They played a lot of close games. They lost to Indiana at home. I mean, I know it's Utah. It was kind of going the other way, and Kessler's out, but not really. I mean,
last game they beat Utah. I'd have to go and check out what the lead expanded to. Last time they played Utah, double-digit win.
All right, but I mean, if they're going to get there, Kyrie's got to score a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, he scored 48 points in that game.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This might have actually been when he was on Brooklyn. Yes, so it was when he was on Brooklyn. So a little bit of a different situation there. What are you ending up with for your betting line, for your betting ticket tonight? We just gave 10 things.
Yeah, I did Eason, Curry, Tyus Jones, and Bridges points, rebounds. Those are the 4. And right. I did a wild 3-point parlay, only for 50 cents. But if I win, I get 1,000.
Who is it?
Cam Johnson's in it. Jalen Green's in it. So something wild. Just
dang, 50 cents to make 1,000. What do you have? The entire 3-point shooting contest in there tonight?
No, I just put 5 threes made, 4 threes made. Could happen.
That's cool about these minimum bets on these sites that we've written some articles about it being 50 cents. The right parlay, you want to be, will you actually, if you turn 50 cents into 1,000, would you be one of those people that posts these screenshot and everything? Hoping the Action Network picks it up or something like that. Look at what this guy did.
He's so smart. Follow him.
Wow, amazing right there. Amazing. You just won $1,000 here.
Yeah, there's so much to look at tonight. I mean, the Middleton one, he's starting. Is there any info on minutes?
I'm not seeing anything on his minutes being expanded. So you have to assume 27 to 30. Normally the game before, unless it's a back-to-back, that's the bar. So you have to assume he's going 27 to 30 tonight.
And that's just a good number at 22.5 points and rebounds.
Yeah, no, that's not bad either. Some updates here.
23.5. 24.5 on DK.
For what?
Points, rebounds, Middleton.
I told you I thought I like the assists a little bit better than
the assists are 25.5.
Okay. I mean, because he's been more consistent. He's been dishing about 5 or 6 per game over his last few. What are you thinking? What are you going to go with? I'm probably Anthony Davis. I'm going to see what happens with some of these other bets here, but Anthony Davis is the only one I'm considering with that high ass number that you were talking about before on the points rebounds. So you're looking at either the Maxey points assists or Middleton points rebounds?
Sixers play, 7:30? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure. I know I got to make this decision on Middleton soon.
Yeah, the Sixers, by the way, 3.5-point dogs. What do you think about that tonight? Sixers underdogs against
Minnesota's actually been playing pretty well lately.
Yeah, they hang in there. They have been hanging in there, despite how much we all kind of crap on them. They do, and they play at a fast pace as well. The line, by the way, for Mavs Jazz is up to 11.5 now. So again, with Kyrie, can he still do it? He can do it, but there's definitely a blowout factor that comes into play tonight, for sure.
You would take Philly getting the points, right? They could
That's
win this.
exactly what I've been thinking about, man.
I don't know. I don't. They're on a back-to-back,
right? I mean, it's a nice line, 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
The others are not as great. Like the Knicks favored by 10, the Wizards 10.5.
So why don't you parlay the Knicks money line, Wizards, and the Nets in Dallas, or take 3 of those?
All right. So you were just saying, let's do this. Let's have a little fun. The Wizards, the Nets, Dallas.
Or no, I mean, you want to put the Nets in or out? They should beat Houston, right?
Yeah. So if we did that, so Knicks, Nets, Mavs, and what, Wizards? Or
Dallas.
Just those 3?
Dallas not going to lose to Utah at home, right?
No, I don't think so. That's you put those 3 in a parlay plus 100. Sounds like a DraftKings boost.
Damn, man, that is brutal.
Does DraftKings have anything tonight? We haven't even talked about that.
I didn't get any alerts.
I didn't get anything either from them. So
they're like, we don't want to rip them off tonight.
No, we don't. I mean, we've got some good things going here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how my early bets do, and I may put something in on Anthony Davis for the late games. Have you made a final decision regarding Middleton or Maxey?
Yeah, right now I don't have anything in on them.
Yep. So sometimes the best bet is the one you don't make because, look, we're not just making bets to make bets. We're making calculated wagers here. We thank our producers, AB The Resource, Adam Bernard. We thank the franchise, Tony LaBarbera. We wish Adam Rodas luck tonight in the Tout Wars draft throughout the evening. I'm Justin Fensterman. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, same network, Bettor Sports Network. Good luck. Let's win.